Yo, 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 what's going on, Sacred Soul family? My benevolent brothers and sisters, it's Jason Justice here in Celestial Cornville, Arizona, which is about 25 minutes west of Sacred Sedona, Arizona. And I want to share with you a quick story about a particular gentleman that I met. His name's Jay. And I was hiking the vortex mountain called Bell Rock Mountain, which is a famous vortex mountain in Sedona, Arizona. And as I was hiking that mountain, I came across a particular gentleman. I climbed up to the top of the mountain, and this gentleman was probably about 20 feet below me. And he just sparked up a conversation with me. I was on the rock and I was meditating and chanting and praying, and he was kind of feeling my vibe a little bit. And he just started asking questions around nutrition and around detoxification and spirituality. And within that 5-minute conversation, he asked me this question. He said, "Hey, Jason," he said, "if there is one thing that you could teach someone to start out with to change their lives, what's that one thing that you would teach them immediately?" And I said that number one thing that I would share with them that they need to start doing immediately is they need to start physically detoxing as soon as possible. He said, "Detoxing?" I said, "Yeah, detoxing." I said, "Jay, as you know, and most people are coming aware of this, is that the world is contaminated and filled with poisons, chemicals, and toxins. The water's contaminated, the food's contaminated, the soil's contaminated, the air is contaminated. It's all contaminated. It's all poisonous. Less than 1% of the food across the world, everyone, is actually 100% pure organic whole foods. People have no idea that even the organic produce in grocery stores is not 100% pure organic. It's still being sprayed with neurotoxins, pesticides, herbicides, glyphosate. And these chemicals have been linked directly to all sorts of sicknesses, diseases, illnesses, and cancers. Okay, all sorts of brain and neurological dysfunctions. Less than 1% of the water across the world that people are purchasing is actually living, mineral-rich, electrifying, structured, oxygenated spring water. They're drinking and eating dead, fake, plastic, poisonous foods. I said, "Jay, this is the world we live in." He goes, "I know. It's sad." I said, "It is sad, Jay." I said, "A lot of people have no idea that they're actually vaccinating our produce. They're vaccinating food now. They're vaccinating animal meat with heavy metals and other sorts of toxins and chemicals that are disrupting not just the internal organs and the microbiome of the gut. It's disrupting neural pathways in your brain. It's calcifying the glands in your brain and your throat. It's destroying the hormonal functions of the operations of your estrogen and testosterone levels. It's recoding your genocode. It's reprogramming your DNA and shutting us down. It's tapping us out. It's numbing us out, and it's detuning us. And this is all purposely designed this way to get us sick, to poison us. Because when a person is living in physical pain, they're living in emotional pain, it's easy for the financial elite bloodline families that control the major monopolies of the world, that control the free flow of information. It's easy for them to influence us because we're so easy and susceptible to the unloving beliefs, to the unloving energies, vibrations, and frequencies that are being bombarded to us from all of the mainstream media outlets of information. They come to you in your awake state, they come to you in your sleep state, they get into your technology, into your brains, they make you think and imagine and image and feel and behave certain ways because we're easily susceptible to the unloving influences that are coming from these major monopolies, these tech companies, these unloving governments, these unloving corporations and businesses that are influencing us to live as sick slaves. Sick slaves. And I was saying this to Jay. So the number one thing people need to do is they need to start physically detoxing from these parasites, worms, and candida. They need a detox from these cytotoxins, neurotoxins, from glyphosate, pesticides, and herbicides, from these heavy metals. They need a detox from these growth hormones. They need a detox from all of these chemicals and drugs that are made in chemistry labs that are more addicting than heroin, and they pump it in our food and drinks and our water. We need a detox from the antibiotics, the pain medications, the pharmaceutical medications. We need a detox from radiation. We need a detox from the pollution of our own internal environment that's inside of the body. We need to rebalance the ecosystem, harmonize it, and put it back into divine homeostasis. Why? Jay said, why? Why is detoxing so important? I said, because when you detox, then emotions can come up to the surface, and then you can get down to the root cause of your pain and suffering. And you can start feeling through all of your emotional traumas. The shame, the judgment, the regret, the guilt, the anger, the frustration, the irritations, the annoyances. You can start feeling all of your fears and your terrors and get down to the root cause of your grief and start crying out the root cause of your grief without hurting yourself or others or your environment. And if you do this with Source Creator, this divine oversoul living entity that has masculine and feminine qualities and attributes, that has no sexuality or gender, that you and I can have a personal, intimate, emotionally transparent relationship with. If you do it with the Creator, asking for her safety, security, and protection, asking for her divine influence, then as you're releasing and shedding these emotional traumas, this new frequency, this new energy, this new belief of divine love and truth will enter the soul and spiritual body and physical body and change you into a new entity. Because now you're expanding self-consciousness. You're becoming fully self-realized. You're becoming fully self-aware. You're decalcifying the glands in your brain and your throat. You're expanding neural pathways in your brain. Why is this so important? Because you're a limitless being giving and receiving information, data, communication, energies, vibrations, and frequencies. Blood flow is flowing. You're opening up the vortex and the portal of your heart, of your chakra points. You're opening up the energy flow of your meridian systems, your energy systems within the physical body. Because you are a sophisticated, intelligent, biological computer software program. You are a divine antenna to give and receive information. You're a living, limitless consciousness being in your own sacred, unique soul of this physical body, entertaining the physical realities of this dream life that we live in. That's why detoxing is so important. That's why detoxing is so important. And when you start detoxing, you can start really focusing on living on your breath, living on the consciousness and intelligence of your breath, of your meditation, of your prayer, of your imagination. You can start grounding with your body to nature, and you're being fed by this divine nutritional source from the Creator that created these non-physical laws that govern our life, that govern our soul and every aspect of our life. You start dry fasting, you start juice fasting, you start water fasting, you start eating and drinking living, nutrient-dense, mineral-rich, electrifying, God-conscious, intelligent, high-frequency, loving foods and loving waters that are structured and oxygenated and mineral rich, electrifying spring water, that raises consciousness. It raises your emotional, energetic, vibrational frequency of growing in unconditional love and forgiveness for yourself and others. And you become a limitless creator. Tapping into these infinite divine lights, colors, and sound of the sacred geometry of that communication. That's the power of detoxifying. That's the power of purification. That's the power of eating and drinking nutritionally dense, mineral-rich living foods and living waters on a daily basis. So once I said that to Jay asked me, he said, "What do you do for a living?" I said, "Great question. I'm glad you asked me." I said, "I specialize in physical detoxification and emotional purification, nutritional replenishment, fasting, conscious breath, and I teach people how to heal themselves at the root cause of their pain and suffering, and I do it with my own superfoods company called Purium." He says, "You own your own superfoods company?" I said, "I do. It's a franchise within a social sharing networking opportunity. I've been eating and drinking these living foods for the past 5 years. And it's completely transmuted and transformed my own sicknesses, diseases, and illnesses, my own psychological, mental pains and sufferings, my own depression. It's helped me shed and release my own physical and emotional addictions, attachments, and codependencies. Now, I've been on this path now for almost 25 years, but specifically within the last 5 years, being a part of this incredible living food and water company has given me an opportunity to dive deeper in detoxification, purification, and nutritional replenishment. And it's created more peace, more joy, more happiness. It's created more fun, more smiles, more laughter, more dancing, more singing. It's created more freedom, more liberation, and more sovereignty in my own unique play of the infinite playground that I live in. If this message resonates with you and you have a desire to learn more about detoxification and purification at a deep level, if you have a desire to create massive amounts of great health and wellness and financial freedom in your life, please reach out to me. With a lot of love, enjoy the rest of your day, and I hope to see you soon.